Many thanks for making a date on the marketplace. Welcome back. Now, the worsening impact of climate change on agricultural activities in the forest savanna transition zone of Ghana continues to have a dire effect on production. The northern belt of the Bunahafo region, where maize is largely produced, falls within this zone and bearing the brunt of the current climatic situation. JoyNews' Nesta Kafuya-Joma has been exploring the negative effects of climate change on production of maize within the Techiman area and has sent in this report.
The Bunahafo region is known as the food basket of the country because of the large-scale production of maize, yam, mango, cashew, cocoa, cassava, plantain, and poultry as well. It produces food to feed people, industries, and animals. Maize, a leading staple food in Ghana, is widely cultivated within the catchment areas of Nkoranza, Techiman, Atebubu, Wenchi, and Kintampo. However, the unpredictable climate conditions annually has and continues to negatively affect production of maize within these areas. In the midst of the volatile environmental changes, access to improved drought-resistant maize varieties is a major challenge to farmers. This, according to Secretary of Techiman Maize Growers and Traders Association, Obiri Yeboah, is affecting supply to the Techiman maize market, one of the biggest in the country.
Here, in average, we are getting 20,000 bags of maize per week. That is 200,000 tons a week. Yeah. All the maize, about 65% comes from the northern region. There they are getting the improved seed, but here we don't get it. That's why we are appealing for the improved seed, so that you too can get the yields like the northern people get it.
The 15-acre maize farm belongs to Secretary of Techiman Maize Growers and Traders Association, Obiri Yeboah. Nothing is good on this farm, even though it's 3 months old. He says improved seeds are not affordable and accessible.
So here we are facing some challenges. That's why we are advocacy for farmers and then the traders for the improved seed. But God so good through the BUSAC and then the NIDA and the European Union. They are helping us to advocacy to the farmers and the traders so that everybody will come to our aid to support the advocacy for the improved seed.
The unending problem of climate change requires contemporary maize farmers to step up efforts to explore adaptable seeds from research institutions. Nesta Kafuya-Joma's report.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) says failure to meet its revenue target for 2018 is partly blamed on some unlawful operations at the ports. Despite the introduction of the paperless system to streamline transactions at the ports, the GRA believes there are many loopholes that need to be blocked. Commissioner of Customs at the GRA, Isaac Krensel, explains to my colleague Ebenezer Sabute.
When we look at our revenue figures that we had this, last year, 2018, we lost much. Because Customs, as a division within the Ghana Revenue Authority, almost fall short of almost about 2-point-something billion revenue loss. And almost about 70% was attributed to the transit trade. So that's why, beginning of the year, we decided that we want to engage all the stakeholders so that we're able to put in all the necessary customs control that I mentioned in my presentation.
Two takeaways from your presentation has to do with the containerized vehicles and then also the restriction. How is this not going to affect the business? Because like the Shippers Authority said, when they come here, they do business with other stakeholders, they buy fuel and all that. It's not going to have effects on all this? No.
Nothing changes, except that the vehicles that are going to cut the goods to the destination countries, we have to build a container on the truck. So they have a flat body and then they build a container on it and then they move the goods. Why we are moving to that direction is that when they use the normal tarpaulin, they just cut it and seal it on the way. So in order to avoid that, we ensure that the goods are secured on the vehicle. So that's why we want to build a container. And we're going to give them enough time. We had the meeting with them, and this is just a way to come out and tell the whole Ghanaian public that this is what we do. But the transporters, we have discussed with them and giving them about 6 months down the line that they should all ensure that when you want to be in the transit trade, you build a container on your vehicle.
Now, economist Professor Godfred Bokpin is warning the new fiscal council may fail because of how it has been structured. There are reports the council, which is supposed to help government check its expenditure patterns, might be drifting away from the initial plan. George Yafi tells us more.
Professor Godfred Bopkin's concern is influenced by the fact that the council, which was at initial stage is supposed to be structured in a way that will be an autonomous institution, is now going to act as an advisory body to the president.
The problem with fiscal indiscipline rests or starts from the presidency to the political architecture and government at the end of the day. And making the fiscal council advisory to the presidency will not achieve that objective. It will not at all. In fact, it is set out to fail from day one. And also making the term of the council in tandem with that of the presidency is to win its independence in the first place.
But speaking at the program in Tema, President Akufo-Addo was optimistic about the workings of the council, insisting that it will bring about the required fiscal prudence.
Last month in December, I established 2 advisory councils. The Presidential Fiscal Responsibility Advisory Council, composed of independent-minded, renowned economists, and the Presidential Financial Stability Advisory Council, made up of heads of the key regulatory agencies of our financial system, to advise and assist me achieve these targets.
The president last month constituted the 7-member council to help advise him on fiscal issues. The fiscal council is made up of some eminent persons, like the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Paul Akwa, and tax consultant Dr. Alina Chia.
Now, Global Chief Executive of Marks International, a worldwide network marketing firm, Joe Wojcicki, is calling for close collaboration between credible network marketing firms and the financial regulators in the country to clean up operations of Ponzi schemes. According to him, a good communication strategy between leaders of the institutions and the regulators will improve the quest to promote a safe business environment. He was speaking earlier on Joy FM's Super Morning Show.
I think the regulators are in a tough position. I think that people who work in government are doing the best that they can to service the community. They usually are doing those jobs because they have a love of country and they want to protect the people. So I think they're in a tough position. I encourage the government and the regulators to work with leaders in industry so that we can work together and work with the public to root out the bad people. You know, you're never going to get rid of them completely, right? There are always going to be people who are intent on doing wrong. But the more that we openly communicate and focus on solving the problems together, the better success we're going to have. And I am 100% certain, because I've gotten the great opportunity of working with so many people in the government here, that they want to improve the country. And they've done such a terrific job. I've watched the economy grow from the time we got here to now, watched the improvements in the roads, in the street signs, in the airport, and it's happening. And people should be very proud of being in Ghana. It's a great country and it's developing very, very fast. And we're going to work together to make it even better.
Now, UK Prime Minister Theresa May has been meeting with MPs from all sides in a bid to find a way forward for Brexit. This follows her slim victory in the no-confidence votes yesterday. Mrs. May must present a new plan for EU withdrawal to Parliament by the 21st of January, which includes negotiating a good trade deal. In Ghana, coordinator of the Third World Network Africa, Dr. Yao Graham, explains why Ghana should be concerned about the developments in the UK, especially when it comes to trade.
Let's say if the Theresa May loses the vote and the result is what is called a hard Brexit, which means that Britain crashes out of the EU without a deal. What would that mean? Currently, the standards which govern trade with Europe are the standards that apply with the UK for those of us exporting to the UK. A lot of goods that go into the EU, including the UK from Ghana, pass through Rotterdam port. At the moment, they move freely because it's a single market, so free movement of goods and people. If Britain should crash out, that whole nexus of standards and trade routes and so on are broken. So it will become like a movement between two countries. So what would it mean for our exports, for example, which are destined for the UK? There'll be a disruption. I mean, frameworks will be needed for us to be able to move very freely. There may be additional costs. At the moment, are things going to the UK through an EU port, they don't attract any duty. Okay. But if the UK should leave and there's no framework, then, of course, these things will have to be subjected to normal rules. So you find that the discussion which is taking place in the EU at the moment, it ranges, and also in the UK, ranges from preparing to minimize the effects of a no-deal Brexit outcome.
And maybe you could help us appreciate how big of a market in terms of trade volumes is it between Ghana and the UK, for which reason we have to be quite concerned?
The UK is Ghana's, I think, second or third largest import source, okay? So that they are leaving the EU, for example, raises questions about whether the economic partnership agreements that Ghana has negotiated with the European Union, which has framed UK-Ghana relations, trade relations, both import and export, the standards, which phytosanitary standards, which about agricultural produce, whether they will continue to apply. Would a place like Rotterdam, which is a very key transshipment point, will Rotterdam continue to be a transshipment point? Because it's there that things go and get broken up and distributed within the UK, the EU as a single market. When the UK leaves, what are the terms within which such kind of transshipment and movement will take place of goods coming from Ghana, into the UK?
This is live on the marketplace. Let's now turn our attention to oil and gas. And Tullow Oil has raised its production outlook for Ghana in 2019 to 180,000 barrels of oil per day. This forecast is based on plans to drill and complete new production wells across the 10 and Jubilee fields, allowing gross oil production from Ghana to go up. There's more in this report.
For now, oil production forecast is pegged at between 93,000 and 101,000 barrels a day, up from 82,000 recorded in 2018. Tullow, in its 2019 trading statement, said gross production from Jubilee in 2018 averaged 78,000 barrels a day, slightly below the group's forecast. The oil giant blames this on some operational issues in December, which it says has been resolved. Tullow expects average gross oil production from the Jubilee field to increase to around 96,000 a barrel. The statement said the 10 fields performed well in 2018 as expected, with gross production averaging 64,500 barrels of oil a day. Tullow is projecting production from the field in 2019 to step up significantly to around 83,000 barrels a day. Commenting on the projections for 2019, CEO of Tullow Oil PLC, Paul McDade, said the oil firm was well placed to deliver on its growth ambitions. Tullow aims to increase oil production in West Africa, target final investment decisions in East Africa, and drill the first wells in an exploration campaign in Guyana.
Let's stay in oil and gas. The chair of Public Interest Accountability Committee, PIAC, Dr. Steve Mantiao, is blaming media reportage over the current misunderstanding about Aker Energy's oil deposits in Ghana. This was after serious debate emerged between government and the minority in parliament over whether the announcement by Aker qualifies as new oil discovery. There's more in this report.
Aker Energy recently announced that it has been able to establish up to 550 million barrels of crude oil deposits on its concession at Deepwater Tunnel area in the western region. This was part of works to establish the commercial viability of these reserves. However, this has led to a debate between government and the minority in parliament on whether this is really a new discovery. Dr. Mantiao said Aker did nothing wrong, but rather how it was reported.
I think the emerging dispute around this new information arises out of the way the media reported the event. The discovery, that's the deep water tunnel to Cape Trade Point's block, was made by Hess Petroleum. But what Hess Petroleum couldn't do was to undertake appraisal to establish the volumes. And this was also because the block was affected by the Ghana-Ivory Coast maritime dispute, which actually put a freeze on all activities in the area. Now, soon after the dispute, Hess, having found itself in a financial difficulty, decided to trade its share in the block to Ake.
Dr. Mantiao has also added that the Petroleum Commission should have the final say on volumes and certification of crude deposits on some of the oil fields in the country.
Rationally, it should be the regulator as a Petroleum Commission. GNPC is a player, but to the extent that it's a national oil company, some collaboration between GNPC, because GNPC, by virtue of its shareholding in each block, has a seat around the table in the boardroom. And so maybe sharing some privileged information, supporting our own national regulatory institution to better do its work wouldn't be, for me, out of place. But the appropriate authority in terms of verification and certification of some of these information that come out will be the regulator, which is the Petroleum Commission.
For many, the time has come for the various regulators in this area to be more proactive to help avoid some of these challenges in the future.
A consultant with the Institute of Sustainable Environmental Solutions, ISES, Dr. Murtala Mohammed, is predicting a continuous rise in utility costs. This, he says, is due to the underutilization of investments made in the energy sector by the previous government. The energy expert's comment is in response to concerns by industry players that persistent tariff hikes are affecting their businesses. Dr. Murtala says tariffs cannot fall until the many contracts elapse. He's been speaking to Love FM's Prince Apia.
Currently, Ghana is producing a lot of energy. Our generation rate is very high. We are currently generating over 4,000 megawatts of energy, but our consumption is around 2,300 and something, according to the data from the Energy Commission. So there's a lot of energy that we are not utilizing, and we realize that most of these energy are coming from the investment that went into the energy sector. There was a lot of PPP agreement that was signed. A lot of energy producing companies are producing energy, but they are not being utilized. And these contracts, government has to fulfill these contracts. And at the end of the day, this will be carry on to the consumer. So for me, what I would say is that we should just be ready for an increment in terms of energy tariff. But one thing I would like to say is that I don't know what is going to happen, because Ghana has just the electricity company is now being managed by a different company, and I think they will be starting work on the 1st of February. So we don't know the dynamics that will come in, but definitely as a consumer, we should just be ready for an increment.
Now, Ernest Achu Kofi, through his childhood days, knew he would grow up to become an artist one day. But after his battle with drugs almost cost him his education as an art student, he found a solution through his unique art designs, how to incorporate used materials in his portrait designs. Here's a report of the Joy Businessman.
It started out with paintings and simple drawings when he was just a boy. Gradually, Achu Kofi's love for art grew, leading him to pursue a diploma course in fine art painting, then a degree in art education from the University of Education, Winneba. However, after his mother discovered he was engaged in drugs in 2010, she stopped supporting him financially, meaning Achu Kofi had to bear the cost of his art project. This led to the discovery of waste as his materials.
We're heading towards a particular project whereby we had to do independent studio research. Okay, and it involves a lot of money. But then I had a weed smoking issue with my mother, so she stopped supporting financially. So I started contemplating on how to get my work done. So I was thinking of how to get a medium and then to do the project. So I saw the cards on my carpet, and then they were very reflective. They were very bright in terms of the Vodafone, MTN, and then the Glo. And at the same time, I could see they are trying to give me a picture of a Ghana flag. And then I saw that there was, I think the color scheme was okay. It's really working.
Now pursuing his MPhil in art education, Achikofi is determined to take the business a notch higher. Dried leaves, biscuit wrappers and waste materials are some of the things Achikofi uses for his work. His most popular works are the ones made out of airtime scratch cards. With them, he designs portraits of people.
With the help of social media, anytime I load a work app or something, my guys give comments and they are really welcoming, and people call or get in touch with me to get portraits done for them in terms of the waste materials, and it's really working. And then sometimes too, I go for live painting at wedding receptions, where I paint the couple's life at the reception.
Aside the contracts that Achikofi gets from people, he also designs portraits of celebrities for sale. Sarkodie, R2B's, Patoranking and Wizkid are among the numerous artists that Achikofi has worked on.
Apono, Shatawale, Sarkodie, Patoranking, Wizkid. I've done, and I have all the stories on YouTube. They're all there. R2B's, for instance, we are very close, or we are together. So we talked to them, and they really happy. No, we are together as a family. Yeah. So it's just, we just present to them, and they really appreciate. So I felt like, giving them something unique with my new discovery that I've gotten. Yeah.
Among all his works, Achikofi says his favorites are the ones of children. With random pictures he takes of children, Achikofi, he designs portraits like these. As a father of two, he finds the pure nature and innocence of children enough inspiration.
I pick my inspirations from them. I believe they are just from the immediate spiritual world. So I pick my inspirations from them, especially through their emotions, how they feel when they are sad and how they feel when they are happy. So that's why I tap my inspirations from them. And already I have some few of them who are picking the scratch cards for me. Yeah. So when they come like that, I give them some small things to do, and I think they are doing
small. You're training them small.
Yeah, I have two of them who are, I think they did 1, 2, 3 to 10, and then ABC to 10 with the scratch cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How old are they?
I think about 12 and then 10.
As a business, Achu tells me that many appreciate his artworks. However, those who actually buy are foreigners. He believes that when Ghanaians grow to appreciate art more, his business will also grow locally.
Well, with me and my environment, I think that is very normal for somebody to buy an artwork for about 7,000 Ghana cedi. Yeah, in the environment in which I find myself, and I meet people that buy works. So I will not say that maybe it was first that we know that Ghanaians don't appreciate artworks, but now some even become art collectors. They buy and take out because they have the clients and go and sell.
Catching another edition of the Joy Business Van next Wednesday on Business Live. And that will be it for the marketplace today. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Join me again, same time tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.